Good morning, folks. How are you doing today? We have the one and only Anna Kelly with us. How you doing, Anna?
I don't know if that's as good as lovely and legendary, but I'll take one and only.
Awesome. So next time it's the
Have
one and
fun.
only and the lovely and legendary. That's fun. I love this. One of the things that is happening today in the crypto space is it's kind of having a meltdown. It's a capitulation day. There's a lot of people being injured who probably didn't do the work. They probably got caught up in the hype. And I know you and I experienced a very similar thing 20 years ago. The names are different, but the same fear of missing out, same gambling, the same momentum. I was in it up to my eyeballs, and it crushed me. And that was the .com crash. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. And then it was the real estate crash of 2008 and 9. So we've had a couple of these. They tend to go about every 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. What I remember about the .com crash, it feels the same. And I've been warning people for the last 4 or 6 weeks, take some chips off the table. This is not going to continue. The first thing that hit me that was very similar is anything that had a .com in the name would come out at ridiculous prices and people would pile in, even though they made no money, right? No earnings. Kind of like today where anything was a coin, and they kept coming out with more and more and more coins that had no use cases, no development teams. They were just literally pump and dumps and suckered people in. Kind of the same thing, right? .com versus coin. And unfortunately, people fell for it again.
It is. I think it's one of these things. People want to be on the cutting edge of technology and what's coming, right? And we all see issues with the dollar may being devalued and the government may be controlling what you can buy and sell and taxing through these coin currencies as well. And so people think I got to get in it early on and be an early adopter, right? So that you can come in and buy these coins. And so people are just saying, if the technology itself is good and blockchain is a good thing, then I guess I want to buy anything that has a coin to it. They're not thinking about the technology being really what's cool, not any particular coin. It's not like you can trade all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, big loss last time. It really boils down to this time is you got to do your homework. That's what I did. The .com craze, I started by doing my homework. I started by being an investor. I started making wise investments and was winning. Then momentum came and pretty much anything you touched turned to gold. And then it didn't, kind of like today. And really it comes down to today is what is the use case of the coin? Too many people have no idea. And some of these people are buying coins that have no use case. They're
Right.
The people's coin or whatever they want to call it. And oh, by the way, they don't realize that, 10 million coins are created a day, 5 billion coins a year. It came out with 100 and whatever it was, 50 billion. I mean, it's just stupid things that are all just pump and dumps. And it just reminds me so much of my mistakes 20 years ago.
100%. And you've really got to research it. I kind of dabbled and I've missed the boat a little bit. I missed the potential upside because early on, my son, who I talk about a lot, he was, maybe 15, 16 years old and was like, Mom, you got to start buying Bitcoin. I've researched and these are the ones that are going to be worth something. And these are the ones that the big banks are starting to, test. And I was like, okay, you're actually doing, but he wanted to put all his money in it.
Yeah.
And I said, you never put all your chips onto something that's brand new. Let's use this as a lesson. You can choose how much you're going to use, no more than like 25% of what you have.
Okay.
You can buy a few, right? So we got some Ethereum and Litecoin and
nice.
Stellar and Bitcoin.
Nice.
And then I watched it kind of start going up and I'm like, okay, I'll dabble a little bit. I'll show you that I can come along with your new technology thing, right?
Mom's flexible. Yeah.
I'm flexible, but we don't want to put it all in. And that's where he's like, it's going to be the next big thing because he's a teenager. He doesn't understand the hype, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's go slow, right? So we bought when it was like 8,000 or 9,000, and then it just came way down. And I was like, well, that was a fun exercise. See why you didn't put your money in it? And we sold some of it, and I kept some. But I'm thinking, man, if I had just kept it when it was down at like 1,000 after we bought it at 9. It'd be worth, it's just crazy, right? So we have a little bit, but even then, even before I dabbled with like $9,000 or $10,000, I spent weeks researching which coins have a likelihood to actually be used What is Wells Fargo talking about? What is Chase talking about? What are the governments talking about? And you've got to do some research, because otherwise it's like going out and seeing lots of shiny object and not knowing what's fool's gold, what's silver, what's copper, what's nickel. Like, you got to find the stuff that's actually going to be used. And people don't. They just buy the cheapest one they can find so they can get in the game and not buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, they buy the cheapest one, or they, even worse, in my opinion, they take some social media guru or influencer and whatever one they have, not realizing that they got in before and they're just dropping on the head of their followers. It is so sad to see. No use case, no research, but hey, I'm talking Shiba or Dogecoin or whatever all these other coins are that have no use cases. People are just getting it dropped on their head. It's so sad to see.
Even my 11-year-old, Mom, you need to buy Dogecoin. That was like, how is he finding this stuff? He's 11, but it's like he probably got an ad on his YouTube channel and listened to the thing on Dogecoin, but it is just so careful, because investing is not speculation. Exactly. Investing is doing the research, seeing what you think has viability, and based upon that and probability of returns, then you put your money into something. And so it's even with real estate. I'm not buying stuff that's speculative, down in the future. Most of your money needs to be things that are going to generate cash flow, go up in value, has a proven, track record for going up before you put a significant amount of your wealth into something. It's no different than buying lottery tickets, really, if you're just going to throw your money at any coin out there.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear about your 11-year-old, right? And that's what I think happened in the last 24 hours is a lot of people took their stimulus checks or this, stay-at-home money or whatever it was, threw it into all these random coins. It worked for a while, and then they probably did what I did. Oh, some is good, more is better. And then they went and got the emergency fund and said, oh, if I have my 5,000 emergency fund, let me just throw it on top because it'll double. Of course it'll double. It always doubles.
Right.
And then they get washed out. It goes down 30%. They panic sell, right? It's, capitulation. And now they got $2,000 left. The stimulus is gone. And they're like, how do I pay for the electricity bill?
Right. And worse is you can buy some of these things on credit card, or at least you could before. So how many people went out and charged it thinking they're going to make money? I can guarantee you there's people that did that.
Oh, yeah. And anybody who did it on margin, because that's what got me, right? I got cocky. I always owned. And like the last month or so, I'm like, I'm good at this. I turned 7 into whatever it was. Let's go bigger. I can turn 150 or 180 into $1 million. And no. The market said, no, you can't.
And here's the thing, Warren Buffett, it's an old adage, but Warren Buffett says, be fearful when everyone's greedy and be greedy when everyone's fearful. And there's really truth for that. When you start to see an absolute frenzy in things, that's when you're just waiting, because everybody's going in on the frenzy and eventually the demand's going to stop and it's going to crash. So you want to be very careful when people are super greedy and sky's the limit and it's the next get rich quick
to
thing.
The moon.
Yeah. And you wait till it crashes. And if you want to be in Bitcoin, you want to be in Litecoin, you want to be in some of these that you think does have potential to really go up, now that it's down is the time to put a little in. Just don't put everything in, put a little in, whatever you're willing to lose. And that's what I say to people is speculative investing is whatever money I'm willing to lose for the chance of it going up. That's the kind of money you put into something like this, not a bunch of your savings, not a bunch of your retirement funds, unless you can afford to lose it.
Yeah. And I have been shopping, right? I added a little bit to Ethereum. That's the one I've done the research on. For me, again, I like analogies because I'm not as smart as a lot of people out there. Ethereum to me is like oil, right? Oil, it's kind of the lubrication for the blockchain.
Yes.
And that's why when I add, that's the one I add to. But again, I've done the research. It's not all, I hate it when I see people talk about this next new coin and it's at 1 cent. And oh, by the way, it's going to go to $1.
Right.
People are like, that's 100x.
Right.
I could take my $1,000 and make it 100 grand. I'm like, guys, they're going to take your money.
Right.
Just take you're going to be,
just buy real estate.
Yes. Do the work. Well, the key for this message is do the work.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's research. If you're going to be in crypto, go become good at crypto.
Right.
There are, I don't know what it is, 5%, 3%, 1%. I don't know what it is, but there's some percentage of the coins that are our use case, our developers will be around. But I got to tell you, just like the .com craze, most of them won't exist. They'll just poof,
Yeah.
they'll be gone.
Absolutely. Got to be
Yeah.
so careful.
Yeah. Very cool, Anna. Thank you very much. And you are a legend.
Oh, thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.